Rotate device. It is rotated. What do you mean? Talking about rotate device. I can't rotate my device. It's already rotated. Fucking YouTube, man. Well, I don't know what that's gonna look like. Rotate device. What do you rotate these motherfucking nuts? Oh, it's telling me to have it upright no matter what. What a. I can't, dude. What am I supposed to do, man? Maybe, here. Maybe this will work, eh? There you go. Man. I keep pointing the phone like it's the light. It's not the light. There's a light. Here's a light. Well, what if I did that? Nothing. It'll cover the camera, huh? Oh, okay. Thanks, YouTube. Thanks, YouTube. Thanks a lot, Gravity. Thanks a fucking lot, Gravity. Mm-hmm. Well, nobody's there anyway, huh? Can we see the percentage? No. Hey, that looks pretty cool. Still can't put tags in the damn thing. Oh, there you go, 53. Something. I want to play the game. Play some game. And put on this audio. Alright, ready? Hopefully you can hear this. Oh wait, you can see that? Man, maybe you can even see the gameplay. I didn't even think of that. See this? Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be upright no matter what. You can't live stream in portrait mode. 16 by 9, like sideways, only upright. Why? Happy Halloween, by the way. Happy Halloween. Well, if someone happens to come in here, yeah, check that out. See that? Oh, yeah. Oh, hey, don't do that. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna put on this audio. I'm gonna play the game while we listen to the audio.
Once, empaths, it's quite common that after being involved with a narcissist, even awakening to the narcissistic abuse, that you still have some degree of love for them. You may be chopping and changing between hate, feeling sick, but there's an underlying pattern of love there. And it's really not a good thing for you to have any love towards this individual. You see, it's actually very common, you know, like you can feel like that you want to help them, that you want to show them the light. You just want them to come around, not come around to your house, I mean, come around to your way of thinking.
Yep, that's pretty much it. Still got that one little bit of hope. Let's keep alive. Oh, there's a helicopter sucker fucking flying around. Fucking helicopter, man. See that scarf? Very cool. I want the fucking helicopter, man. Probably looking for some damn criminals, man. A lot of fucking crime around here. 51. Alright. Okay, nice. Let's get this audio out on a tray.
You know,
You know?
it's very common for this to be the case.
Mm-hmm.
I did experience some time where I felt like, to be honest with you, what I sum it up as is you missed the companionship.
Yeah.
You see, your life was so preoccupied with their life. Your life got so filled up with what was going on in their life that you feel empty without them being around you. But that emptiness is actually a superpower. That alone time is actually your superpower. That is the time that you need to dig deep and start focusing on other things. You don't love them. You gotta realize this, you don't love them. You're addicted to them through the pain that they put you through and the little spells of love bomb. And
I don't know about that. I mean, if you want to think of it that way, then when you say you don't love them, the love you're talking about would be the sentimental side of love, logical thought, caring for them, and then the other side, it's love itself is a chemical addiction. That's what it is. It's something you'll be addicted to. Some people have a stronger tolerance to that, can go without it, or they just go for that same addiction, but with someone else. They don't connect the sentimental, logical part, the rational part of the brain that says, I love that person because I can discern between the addiction of that and everything what he just said. I've pulled myself out of the equation and looked at it, and I see things from every possible imaginable angle that I can fathom, like everything I can conceive, like how extrapolate any possible variation, any anomaly, any timeline that could happen, every possible scenario, like and yes, I self-reflect almost exclusively, not just having that as a thing where you would think, yes, this is like a blessing to have, like, or a benefit, not like a religious blessing. I mean, just something, yeah, figuratively blessed with. Well, listen to what more he says. For me, see, it's like 97% of this is going to line up. There's going to be some parts where it might be, I don't think so. I might think, like, my conclusion, my final answer might be, I don't think so. Or it might just be my initial, wait, I'm not sure about that. I don't know. Maybe it is. Or it will be, no, for sure it's not. It's absolutely not that. I know it might look a certain way for most situations, but when you can see exactly what that is and you've been there before, then you see conversely the opposite of what that is. And you've also been there before. Now you're not in either. You can detect which is which one would apply to you, barring any veil of confusion, as long as you're seeing through an undistorted perspective, properly, rationally, with reason, with judgment, and with discernment. I don't see, I can't, I can't see any um, scenario, any hypothetical or any situation where if love is a thing, everything else aside, I love people. Other people are closer. We share other special interaction with them, and we attach that to whatever type love we had with that connection, romantic, platonic, friendship, or bonded through family, more your survival sort of pack mentality, communal, as opposed to reproductive with a mate or lustful with someone satisfying the flesh versus just a mutually beneficial exchange of ideas or activity with a platonic friend. If love exists, and I can experience this emotion and also have the thought of it, and if I don't love this person, then I don't know how love can be a thing. Because if you can give me any scenario, if you could write down every single reason why I don't love her, and you might have these things attached to it, write them all down on an index card, and each index card might have an extra note taped to it. I could take each one and go through the whole deck, the whole stack, doesn't matter how big it is, and I would have each and every single one. I could show precisely why. I've seen it, experienced it, rationalized it, worked through it, figured it out. As far as I can tell that I exist, this is off the table. The only thing that's left are things that will be unanswered from her side. And if she is living in that false illusionary world where I'm not even a person, I'm just a piece in her mind, that would be in one of the cards. I still see that. You can eliminate that from the list. You can say, well, uh, she did this. Yes, she did these evil things to me. You could show me time travel to the future. Look, your whole life passed. You never saw her again. You're never going to be together. It's for sure. We're going to put you back in your life. You can't change this. Now, knowing that, you can see, oh, you should stop wasting your time. You're just having an emotion for this person, and you could not do that. That's not the way it works for me. If you love your, I say so many times, friend, spouse, child, parent, whatever it is, that something is permanent, barring any sociopathy, psychopathy. Like if you're a decently balanced, stable person with some kind of morals and some kind of compassion, not empathy. Empathy is not feeling. Empathy is understanding simulation of another person's feelings in your mind. But a psychopath can have empathy. They understand the victim is in pain. They just don't care. They lack compassion. You could take all these things out. I could know, put it this way, say you have your mate, your mother, or your child. They go blind and deaf, and they can never communicate with you ever again. And is that the moment you stop loving them? When do you? Sometime maybe in 6, 7, 8 years. It's like write it down on a calendar, a thing to do after they die. You lose your baby. You don't think that's going to hurt the rest of your life? I think some things are permanent. I think some things will stay with us. And it's never going to feel good, the separation, losing someone that you care about like that. Even knowing she went with a whole other grown-ass man, I could justify all the things, say, well, yeah, and she had a kid with this guy. So it's like, dude, oh, you're hung up on this female and she even went with it. No, it's not like that. That part was already proven long ago. There's no hung up on anything. I'm not caught. I'm not snagged. I'm not stuck. That's part of why the narcissistic abuse, even when I knew it didn't work, when I didn't know it didn't work, even when I allowed it, it didn't work. It wouldn't work. Maybe that was part of the thing. So what this other guy was saying is they lose that supply. And the person only has control because you give them that control. Oh, there's messages. Oh, hey, who's this? Hello. Yeah, I see you. Sorry, I didn't see the message. Blame YouTube. They're everywhere, dude. And once you recognize it, walk away as quietly as possible. They're demons, and it never changes. And no one deserves that shit. I found 2 of them in my time, and there won't be a third. The love dies for pity, but the good you held was false. All the love bomb play before their real character steps in. That's crazy. I hope that's still you, man. What's up there, DJ Emo? I hope that's still you in the. It says one person is in there. there's so much to this, and it's such a long story with her and me. Mm, but it really is like, okay, in my brain, I don't, on the surface, I realize, and of course, we interact in a certain way. You have certain boundaries and feelings towards certain people, but when I have that type of a love for somebody, it's just going to stay with me. So you take all those reasons away, and this guy will say, like, well, they don't deserve it. I mean, well, you can get into the stoic side of it. Nobody deserves anything. You're not entitled to anything. So that's a moot point. What I found, see, Here's the thing. Me and this girl were engaged. It's a very, very long story. We spent so much time together, and I think she knows. She knows she's never gonna have someone how we were together. Even after this time, we broke up. It's because of her chaos. And I am researching and studying her behaviors, and this is like literally Neo waking up in the Matrix. But it's my life, my actual. No one cares about your life like you do. And this is my window. Like, I don't know if I've been mistaken as narcissistic. I'm pretty sure most people didn't even realize the technical meaning of that. How actual NPD, narcissistic personality disorder, and the 9 traits, and all these things, how deep it really is. I've been called this, and I think what people think is like, oh, you're narcissistic, meaning very. You play into your ego a lot. You have a high opinion of yourself. You're very brazen. That's a completely different thing. Like this dude was saying, there's a spectrum of narcissism, but then when you're NPD, narcissistic personality disorder, when you're like that, it's just yes or no. You either are or not. And so much of now I'm thinking back on our whole relationship, and it's like when you reread a book, but now you know who the killer was, and you're like, oh my God, like, wait, so that's why he was standing behind the wall. It makes sense now. So it's the wall stander. Okay, so I see what you're doing. Now next time they come around standing by the wall. And they said somebody else got killed. Now I'm noticing you standing around. And I'm like, wonder if I wait around a while. So I wait around. Sure enough, start getting ready to get into an attack posture. It's like, So I'm learning all these things, and it's like hacking the universe. It's like finding these secrets and these answers. And I've been wanting to figure this out for so long. Thought about myself and her. So we broke up. She went about her life. It was not my choice. Really? What happens when you get a phone call and it's like live streaming? Nothing? Okay. It's a very long story with her. The end result, so much toxic chaos that I'd always get blamed for. It was always her shit is my fault, her bad moods. I'm real chill. You could watch my videos, you can hear me, the way I am, the way I think. So much shit has happened to me, and I let that shit I let it go. I talk about it. It bothers me, then I go. Try to be chill. I've been through every kind of bad relationship. I've been abused since being young. I have complex post traumatic stress disorder. This girl doesn't fucking care, dude. That's why it was never, I am a topic. She was always the topic. Suck you into that matrix. So all these things start to make sense now. And I'm thinking back. Um, but seen, I've seen things in her that it's like a glimmer in the dark. You know, you thought it, the fire was out, not like a love fire, but just like the forest is dark. But wait, I saw something. There was a little flash. Something's still there. She's not, I don't think, completely gone. You know, I separate that from my love for her, and that is all separate from what he's talking about, because I realized that, and yeah, that's something. Like I was saying, I could be mislabeled or misrepresented being that kind of way, because that's why I figured out recently why I finally figured out. I'm like, how come every female is evil that I get with? Why are these evil psychopathic lunatics, these broken people, so like I get that part. Being actual empath, different, not an NPC. You care about other people's problems. Like, it bothers you. It really bothers you when they're fucked up. Like, but when they're fucking you up, it does not bother them, and you can't. You try, because you try to make logical sense of it. You can't. That's why you're just part of their illusionary thing. So I have that separate, since I've always been part of that paradigm, that scheme. That's where I've always been grounded in reality, like a tether, but that's the stage I was always thrown into, from parents, from other spouses, even friends and family, not knowing it. But friends was more like, we had similar interests, and you have to respect boundaries or else you could just bounce. It's like, okay, then you're not homies, you don't chill. It's not that big a deal. Family or a wife, a girlfriend of years is different. Someone you live with, different. And I couldn't figure it out, but I still think she is not all the way gone. And so I have those things separate. I've always been thrust into that illusion. So what happens to you, you start to take on their traits. You start to take on their visions, their goals, their problems are your problems. There's no time for your problems. All that's important is them. If they're in a good mood, everything's cool. If you get upset, it's not okay. So what do I do, right? Hmm. I'm a I'm a caregiver. I'm a protector. And I'm a leader, though. I'm not, I'll follow, but like a Scorpio, like, as long as I agree with it. As soon as I see something wrong with it and you're not going to listen, I'm not even there. It's not, I might tag along to see, like, well, maybe he's going to find the way. but you're going so far off course. I'm not going this far. I'm not. I'm turning back now. So I dedicated myself to this person. Um, I probably do share a lot of that similar history and the. So you can share a lot of the discrepancies as the person, but two things can be true at once. What's his name? uh, I just told her that not too long ago. Correlation does not mean causation. Just because some two things fucking correlate does not mean that it caused it or is the same. You can have all those things. You can even be egotistical. I am my number one fan. You can look it up on the internet. Trust me, it's true. I said so. That means it's true. See, that proves itself. I love when I'm into my stuff that I am into. I made that. It's my favorite by default. Of course, I fucking love it. Uh, no one is gonna like. No one's gonna love your stuff as much as you do if you really do. And I love getting into that, and it's just I don't know. I've always been an entertainer. I've always liked to be the class clown. I don't like the attention though. I don't know. I like knowing that I don't get it. I don't understand it, but I've always been able to keep that in check. Probably because I've had something to balance me out. Like I got beaten up when I was little, so you can't really feel big when someone bigger than you is beating the fuck shit out of you. I was surrounded by really intelligent people and really shitty people. So some of those shitty people's shit rub off on me, and then and I felt like superior to them because I was real smart. But then the real smart people were way more fucking smart than me. I was a little kid, and so the physical dominance over me, the lack of control in my life, the chaos, I've always seek to control myself, my environment, and even those around me. And that might not sound good, but it is. You have to control those around you. What if those around you have gasoline and a match? If you don't control them, they will burn you up. If you do not control what's around you, it will take you over. This is scammers calling me nonstop, dude, all day. But you have to, and so that doesn't mean like a remote control. You do this, you do that. No, it's like you interact with human beings, but that has to go back and forth. And when you have nothing, you have no control in your life, then you crave it a lot. You're lacking that attention, you crave it a lot. What do? You go deeper into your interests and you pay attention to your own thing, and then you want to share that with others because you want it to be seen and valid and enjoyed. A side benefit of that is like, oh wow, they like that I made it. I like that I made it too. That's a thing we share. That's a thing you've been missing your whole life. That's nothing to be ashamed of. It's like, so if that's what intimacy is, it doesn't mean sex or kissing. Intimacy is like closeness, being intimately involved. We just think of it more as male-female because male-female can be closer naturally by default as far as like mating and hormones. Men and women have hormones. We can't fight. You have pheromones and physical little globs go from one human to another and get sensed and processed by the limbic system, right? I think. And yeah, your sympathetic core. It's like time to be nurturing, protective, and sharing because you keep your secrets from the enemy. You close your enemy off from in the wall. Who's on your side? You share what you know, your intel, your secrets, your vulnerabilities. They can hold the knife. They're not going to put the sword to your neck. That's why I told her. We started talking again. We didn't talk for 5 years. And I know it hit her because she doesn't self-reflect. It hit her like a runaway train. When it hit me, it was like I was braced for the impact. But she went crazy with it and got all stressed out and then went way deep into this like rabbit hole mental thing. I kind of thought that would happen. I didn't think it would happen so quick and suddenly like that. But when we started talking to each other, nothing was discussed or agreed upon or brought forward. It was just running into each other. Hello. Hi. Hmm. And there was this like, yeah, I explained it before, this like air of mystery of like, we could both tell the other one's heart was beating, like, and the pauses, the patterns between you, you sense this, you pick up on it. She's neurodivergent. Also, in a different way though. And, well, I've dealt with a lot of my stuff for a long time and studied it. She, I think, is resistant to it. I think she has that philophobia. Is it called fear of love or fear of being loved? Fear of commitment? Because you have a fear of loss and fear of abandonment. Yeah, that's something I had got over. But anyway, we ran into each other, and what happened? I don't know. I think she was going into like the narcissistic cycle again with me. I didn't know about any of this. I had suspicions, but I didn't understand it. I didn't see through like the technical rationalizing it. Like, this is what it is, because I'm just learning the specifics of this. I can't pinpoint her precisely yet. I can't say for sure. And that's the thing, because there are some people who I could say beyond certainty they're hopeless. They're never coming back. They aren't. They're just not. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, in 10 years, look back on the historical record of anyone who passed away. Look at their whole life. Statistically, some of them were kind of evil and changed. Other people weren't. They never had the capacity to change. They're pure. They just aren't people. Like, they don't do human things. They're not aware of this world. When we interact with them, I don't see her being like that. I think some things might be, for me, I think there are some things that are like, that will always be how they are. And people think you can just like, you can decide you don't want to be blind anymore. I'm not blind, but that's what it's like. I tell them, they're like, oh, something, something. I'm like, dude, you're trying to tell someone who's paralyzed to just get up and walk. You just have to want it bad enough. Well, no, that's different because they can't. Right, you're not listening. It's not can't because need and or something, and if you only did no, that's not a possible thing. Some people will always have these things, but we kind of just naturally were talking to each other. I didn't think of it as supply at the time. I didn't think of it as fulfilling a need. I still felt that special, like warm place like that me and her had, that we have, because the thing is, whether she will recognize it or not, or acknowledge it, or if she even tries to think of it, she can't deny, and she knows this. And I don't know how much she thinks about the fact that I know she knows this, which is the creepy thing when somebody understands your mind to such a fucking degree that they can point things out that normally she would keep hidden, and she wants to come to me for insight, but she is scared of some things. So, she knows that I know, so you can't say anything. So how do you ask that? You can't. It's like I've tried to explain how to be just, you can just tell me. You can tell me, you can ask me anything. Like she doesn't know how to open up, how to be normal. But she can't deny that was there. Then yeah, it comes up that I mean, I clearly have the same feeling of a connection with her. Then evaluating it and thinking about it, like, where is that ever returned? But she went to this kind of crazy state of mind. Um, she just started getting upset and talking about doing something. She's going to look up a certain thing to see if a certain thing would happen to her where a certain other thing would no longer occur, which is like, breathing. So like, yeah, I mean, a human being who's like not breathing anymore, that happening. And so like she scared the fucking shit out of me. Like nothing had, there was no expectation or anything. We were being nice and sweet to each other. Naturally, like when you have such a long-term partner and you've ascended to a point of like nothing's ever gonna come close to this. This is it. Then it's gone. Then it's there again. It doesn't need any like announcement. It doesn't need recognition. It's just kind of there, standing on its own, and you both are like, oh, yep, like. So we're talking 6-8 hours. She's messaging me on break as soon as she gets home. She's updating me. All these things that people do when they like you or they're interested in you. Letting me know that she's going about her business in her day. I'm involved. I'm just caring about it because I give a fuck. Like, I've always naturally been that way. And, well, where's anybody else? They're not there anymore. Not only did she have a kid with one guy, she did with two. 1, 2. And he's right, this dude, because she's now realizing whether she's fully narcissist or not, still, even if she does truly love me at some level as a real person, it's still the best supply. Even if I'm partially in that range, but aware of it and not demonic, I still feel what he's talking about, that addiction and that supply. You know, they say there's nothing like a mother's love. There's nothing like a brother. There's nothing like a lover. There's nothing like that one person. And that's what defines them. We naturally start going back into that. So that creates conflict for her. And I am not afraid of conflict. I'm not afraid of anything. I have fear, like human fear, but I don't fear things. Like I'm not a crazy person. I'd be afraid of like a wild animal coming because but I wouldn't be physically. You know what I mean? Some people get scared. Like that makes me start pushing my emotions like they don't exist. That's fine. You're gonna have problems. I only came from problems. And people that can't deal with conflict and problems and drama, you can't deal with it in a healthy way because you don't have that skill. It's a fucking really abrasive thing, and it's especially with someone narcissistic even. It's messing with their supply. It's messing with their. You're bringing too much truth. You're bringing too much realism into the illusion, the matrix, right? Like Neo and Morpheus is there, and all the guns come down, and he's like, you could choose anyone you want. And so Neo's like, man, this is like, everything is perfect. Any weapon, any bullet, unlimited, infinite. And he takes his favorite gun, favorite bullet, puts it in there. But then it's like, everything's supposed to work perfectly. It's like, because it's the digital fantasy perfection illusion. That's what it is. Whatever you want. But then he gets it in his hand and the thing starts jamming up. He's like, what the fuck? And then he looks and it's all greasy. Oh man, now it's getting on his clothes. And he's, oh fuck, he's smudging his face, like now we got Neo. He's not looking crisp. He doesn't have that Neo drip. He's not looking like $1 million. He's looking like a fucking scuffed Keanu Reeves stand-in. The illusion is broken. Oh, this person has feelings. She fucking feels bad. She makes it up in different ways. That's the thing. She'll always surprise me. And it's not because she wants that superficialness back there, because you can tell when it's not there or when it is there. She still has this other thing, this other want, this other desire, this other need. And she fucking, she avoids it. She's scared of that commitment. She told me about this. The more she used to tell me, the more I'd figure out, the more that made sense. And we would sit there like, yeah, like just long period of like, wow, dude. You're just thinking about it, and then she would be like, something. So there's like a depth there. It's not shallow as it seems. And my analytical brain coming up with this new information wants to be like, aha, I solved it. Yes, I got it. Because I've gotten some answers about myself. I'm using this as a tool, you know. I told her just randomly goodbye because she went silent. She went completely quiet. I wasn't thinking of it in the context of narcissist tactic, but she did that, and it's a form of abuse. It's a form of control to get the ball back control, you know, because I fucking throw a wrench in the pattern every time. Because you can only push me so far. And then that gaslighting shit doesn't work. It doesn't work on me. It just doesn't fucking compute. Uh, I'm not sure what she learned about. But this whole thing, just like before, just like when we were together, just like when we broke up, just like when we had problems, just like when I sat there trying to solve all the problems, while she kept adding fuel to it. All those times, I talk about this as it pertains to me, because there's no more entity that is us. There's no more you and this girl. That's the thing. That was the picture, the Bob Ross, with all the happy little accidents that, well, I didn't notice it was just poking through the paper. It was just tearing up the canvas. And by the time I looked at it, yeah, sure, a whole destroyed painting is artistic, but that's not the look I was going for. I thought we were building a castle. But it's about me. All this, I've been through obsession. I've been through passion, which is lust. Like I said, I know how to differentiate what those things are combined, what they are separate. I even know how to function with those things and how to use it and not if I want to. Be aware of it. Sometimes I'll slip into it, but that's the thing. You both slip into that fantasy, but you're on her stage. When you're with a person, you're in love, and they're a free, artistic individual, and so are you. And you're actually like a chosen one. Like you are one of us. You're gonna view them as one of us, but they're not. So you think you're running around in a dream like a bubble with them. And when you try to pull them over to your side, it doesn't work because you notice you're in theirs only. So then you're like, well, okay, then I'm gonna step out of this real quick. And you notice it's like you're on the back porch with no coat and it's snowing and there's ice and the door closed. And it's like a big metal door that made a big loud scary noise just to emphasize how fucked you are. And you're like, wait, this isn't cool. So you try to communicate with the bubble. It looks nice and warm in there. And so she's like communicating with you, like, yeah, what's, hey, come in. What? Let me in. It's like, oh. Then it's like, you're kind of upset, kind of fucking cold. Like, well, why'd you fucking go out in the cold, asshole? What? You're calling me names, dude? Bruh. You know, man, I wish the chat would come up like right away and stay on there. The love dies for pity, but the good you held was false. Oh yeah, I read that one. It's a lesson if you learn from the experience you choose, nothing more. You come here alone and you go alone in the end. Yeah, it's true. Anything else is sharing your time here. Yep. Yeah, like the more I listen to these guys talking about this, they don't have to convince me of something. I don't have to believe them. What they're saying is just universally true. Like, you are extremely valuable, and I was extremely valuable to her, so much that whether she realizes it or not, I was only there to give her a gift. And that gift was my time, the pleasure of interacting with me and experiencing your life with me, having the experience of me, okay? And that's not pretentious because, well, it was for me also, but that's supposed to go both ways. That's the only problem. But yeah, the more I went into like the Stoic philosophy, it's the same thing. I'm Zen Taoist. So I've been Taoist for like most of my adult life. I was Hare Krishna for a while. You know what Hare Krishna? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Still makes me feel good. Uh, I'm unstoppable. Nothing in this universe can destroy me. Nothing can make me lose. I can't lose. I can only win. And so I told the universe, I told the internet, I can't lose. And I got 2.1 thousand views on my video because it's a stupid thing and people wanted to click on it. But it was true though. I tell whatever's listening, there's something that fucks with me. There's something here that fucks with me. And maybe I just think this. Maybe it's not real. If it's not, then okay. But I know it is. Trust me, it is. If it's not, okay. That's fine too. That's fine too. Fine. Touche. You win. But I know something is out there. I do. And it fucks with me. And it thinks it's funny to do it. And it thinks it's going to win. And every day I tell it, this is what you do to me every day. You can make it worse and worse and worse. It can't get any worse. There's nothing you can do. There's no amount of pain you can cause me. There's nothing you can take from me that can hurt me more than the ultimate, which has already been there. You're nothing. You're laughing. If this only gives you pleasure, then okay. You don't even have the ability to comprehend. You're such a psycho lunatic, a madman in your brain that it's just like the witch in Minecraft. Just crazy. Like a cat woman throwing cats and shit. Man waves at cloud. You know, Biden, like, we're talking. I don't know. I want to listen to this guy more though, because there's so many different connections to so many concepts. It's hard to keep track of like all the different streams, avenue of thought. But Yeah, there's too much more to even say. But I basically say, it's like in 2B2T, the server. People come on there thinking that it's funny to mess with you and create lag in the server. But people that have been there forever make that joke about like Bane, right? Oh, the darkness. I was born in it. It's like uh, you're gonna hurt me by causing me pain when I've been in pain, and that's all I know. You're not winning. You tie me up to a chair and torture me all fucking day to the point where you can't hurt me any worse than you ever have. Now you don't have the power to hurt me anymore because that's base reality. I'm starting from that. Eventually, she destroys me so much to a point where there's nothing left. I already became the universe. What are you going to do to the universe? I'm here, then I'm not going to be here. Anything in between is like I get to have that. I don't get to choose it. I get the option of trying to point at one or the other and hope that was the one I got. That's all it is. But I think the Stoics go too far into it. It might just be that I don't understand their full thing, because even a Zen Taoist has to admit you still have wishes and desires. You want to be alive. You can't say you don't care, because they become hungry. I become hungry. I want to eat food. I have an extremely strong survival instinct, but I can't fit in a category of like this. Oh, I'm a this, I'm a that, because, well, there's probably one thing I don't agree with, and I'm gonna live forever because I'm unkillable and I'm immortal too. So, but maybe I'll forget. If I forget, then I can't respawn, and I can't get into the specifics of it. But as long as I'm here in this body, this human experience, and I'm not like home, this is a nice planet. So I like this planet. This is my planet. I left it here. Now all these creatures have spawned here. I don't like it. There's too many of them. They're shitting all over the place. We need sanitation services. Clean this shit up. Yeah, the toxicity. I don't know. I hold out hope for certain individuals, certain people. Um, no one is here to be anyone's material slave abuse thing. Yeah, that's weird because I think I think maybe I will propose a new category, because they separate the cut and dry narcissist personality disorder, full blown narcissist. There's no hope for this individual. This is something that's always going to be that way. There's clinically, there is no solution. There's no treatment. There's no medicine. There's no way to crack the code. You'll never get answers from this person. You'll drive yourself crazy. They will never be able to love you on any level. then there are people who are narcissistic on a varying degree. What I would propose, and I've studied almost, I mean, every form of psychology, um, everything about the human mind, behavior, each advanced niche area of study I could find that exists. I've read so many abstracts and just conclusions of papers to get the gist of it, and then went into some of the technical aspects and moved on, and then some I've read extensively, and then I've gotten the book on that, and then I've went and talked to people about that, and I went and obsessively, like with manic energy, like hyper laser focused for weeks and weeks and weeks on end about one thing with one interaction with one person like this. Try to learn all these things and figure some stuff out. And then I got to the point that Sigmund Freud got to. And one of my therapists told me that. And this was a therapist that I would bring my notebook to therapy. I wasn't trying to be an asshole, dude. I really wasn't, but I would. I always had a notebook anyways, but I would bring research papers and all kind of stuff. This is like before everyone had a smartphone. And I'm like, she was 2 years, yeah, I think. Second year or third year, I don't know, third year student. So she was practicing. And so she's the therapist, the professional. I'm in her office. She's in the dominant position of control, in charge in the office, and she's the person that knows all the things. And I am the submissive role of the person who comes in, who's the pathetic, they're the sympathetic, and then you're the pathetic, the one that needs, not pathetic like the classical sense, like a child that needs a mother, like, well, yeah, pathetic, like you need them, they don't need you. You come in, they're going to tell you a bunch of stuff you didn't know. But then I sit down and ask a question, and suddenly it's like all that goes out the window, and I say, well, like 2 sentences, and she's intrigued, like, oh wait, huh? I'm like, oh yeah, I'll talk your ear off. 20 minutes later, she's writing notes in her book. I'm going to look that up later. I'm going to ask my teacher about that. Then I'm asking her about herself, and I'm breaking the fourth wall, being self-aware, saying, you realize I'm analyzing you and giving you my honest opinion. So I wrote down something, and she wanted to see what my notes were. That's when she's like, this is like Sigmund Freud. You need external analysis because you've gone so far in yourself. And she's like, I don't know what I could do for you other than tell you some practical things you could try, or I could tell you what I've learned. And I'm like, well, don't think I'm some fucking know-it-all, dude. I mean, you probably know a whole bunch of shit that I don't know. I just have 20 years experience doing the shit on the streets, in my life, in the chaos, in the fucking, in the shit, in the combat zone, and then in peacetime, and then in orbit. Invert, covert, extrovert, socio, psycho, and much more. Yeah, there's a lot of this stuff. So funny. Years ago, you tried to avoid the one nutter of the group of ladies. And now you're looking for the one sane lady from the group. Yep. And that's the other thing I am just, I'm trying to figure out why it's like real without overthinking it. Just me at night. Why are all my exes fucking lunatics, psychopath, evil? Why? Why haven't I had one of those relationships I see in movies or TV or even real life where it's like, yeah, both sides kind of chill after a while and well damn, now they're even closer than they used to be. And I've done that. Again, part of the fucking Truman Show, and I didn't know it at the time. But we got back together and oh man, dude. Something always kind of hit me strange about a person who doesn't cry, though. If you can never see someone cry, if you have to ask yourself, what's it like? What does it sound like when this person cries or is like in emotional pain and like vulnerable, like allowing you to hear it? You have to wonder, has that ever happened? Do they just, is that a thing that isn't, there's no such thing? Have they hidden it from me? Because, like, my parents, if you're in my generation, our parents, boomers, they hide their feelings. That's the way it was. You know? It's still seen as, like, weakness and everything like that. And the old mentality, especially a lot in the South, be a man, suck it up, buttercup. Yeah, don't be a pussy. When, yeah, you listen to Jordan Peterson or Peter Jordanson, whichever one of those guys you prefer. They're both on point. But listen, uh, um, just being able to experience any type of emotion is not only an asset, it's a strength, it's a benefit, and it's a necessity for survival. Being able to manage intense emotion and use it to your advantage is a gift. Being able to express vulnerability and emotion while not being pathetic in a sense of need, still being strong, confuses the shit out of people because we're brainwashed to think that that's weakness. But no, like the man said, that is one of the strongest men you'll ever meet. And that's why he cried during some of his talks. That's why sometimes he didn't. And you look at him, he's not someone that is just he doesn't fall apart. You look at someone else who could cry like that, the logic centers turn off. It's only the limbic system, the emotional core, but it's out of control. It's chaotic. So you have to wonder, well, what is this person? They have no emotion? How do you rip someone's heart out and physically see them shaking, crying so hard that they can't breathe? Have you ever tried to save a drowning baby that was your child? Have you ever been like so close and they're dying and you can't reach. Unless you've trained yourself extensively or been in these intense situations, it's extremely hard to keep your composure. I'm the kind of person that goes into action. And then at the end of the day, I can only imagine what a sympathetic search and rescue SAR. That's what I studied for. SAR, search and rescue. I rescue people. So, well, I don't. That's what my job would be. I have done it, not formally, but yeah, mostly animals now. When you do that, or if you're really empathic, you really think of other people and you fucking, it hurts. It hurts, like any person. You see this shit they're doing to these kids. It's only my vivid imagination. I'm neurodivergent in a specific, particular way. And I have a strong grip on reality, but my mind can like vividly have like lucid experience of like imagining or like a character actor, like how James Woods said he would get lost in the character, like Heath Ledger get lost in the character so much he's not himself. But I'm still me, but I'll feel that from people. I saw this little boy, what they did to him, and it hit me like in a fraction of a second, in 1/4 of a second. I had a flash in my mind of my little brother, and if somebody were to do that to him, oh my god, dude, no, uh-uh. Do no harm. Do no harm. How do you not kill a cancer cell, though? How do you not take them into the city square? It hit me immediately, huh, instantly. Just my eyes, like when you're like, dude, uh, they, they told him he could be a little girl and all this stuff. He's 4-year-old boy. I don't even know if I could do that. I've been in acting. I've done acting, and one of those things, the intensity of having to, plus dealing with like manic or intense emotion and hypersensitivity to surroundings and input, stimulus, all translates to a fucking symphony. Like my brain never stops. But I felt that so hard. There's been times where I try to sing something. I was singing a song to her, Elvis song, and when he says about the ring making her his wife, yeah, I couldn't do it. Couldn't get through it. The next day I did. I did it because I was more of like in a pain from her. Uh, but nothing could have blocked out that at that moment. They showed this little boy, and I'm not trying to be dramatic. people have to be stopped. They, um, they have to be stopped. I wish I had the ability. There would be no law. There would be no law that would stop me. Just immunity. And I'd do no harm. But they wouldn't be here anymore. Stop it. I cannot believe it, dude. Still scammers. It's like 9 at night. Yeah. So I see this little boy. They brainwashed him, gaslighted him, propagandized his fucking brain, poisoned his mind, and confused the fuck out of him and turned him into a little girl. Told him this is normal reality. Like when you're growing up and you're taught and you're told that strangers danger, you do not go with strangers. If adult does this to you or touches you like this, it's not right. It's inappropriate. That's what you're taught because that's correct. You grow up with that normal worldview. His normal worldview is this permanent mutilation. My little brother would not have been a boy. He wouldn't have been my bro. He wouldn't have been a man. We wouldn't have had the male experiences we've had. He wouldn't have had any of the malehood he has. They would have effectively killed him. They have effectively killed that little boy. And, well, I started crying so hard, it went into a somatic response. It was like medical. That's happened before. And I can always, like, mentally, I can stay, like, aware of everything. So it's like getting hit by a truck and ran over, but it just keeps happening. And you can't move. But that's me. And you can only become resilient when you've been destroyed. You have to get destroyed to become strong, to become resistant. That's how come we temper our blood. The Russians do it. They go in the sauna, then they go in the ice water, and they put the baby in the snow with their skin. And they put him in the hot water. And from one extreme to the other, it constricts and unconstrict. I can't think of the other word. Tightens up and loosens so much. If you do that, if you stress something enough, it's either gonna change its shape and absorb the stress, and, well, still materials will break down. It's not a good analogy, but a person will, you become stronger with it. It's a strength, it's not a weakness. even telling her that, to get back to that point, or this point, uh, and no, I'm not, well, I am playing with a knife, but in a fun, safe way. She would ask me, are you doing something to yourself? Like, she would have general concern. She would have general concern. But that's the thing. I don't know if she's like, can't show it, doesn't know how to express it, just emulates it sometimes. But my thing I propose, I think there's like a hybrid. There's like a new category that I'm thinking of because she doesn't fit into either one. And I should have made more progress than I did so far with what I've figured out. When I try to figure these things out with someone or something, if I come to this point, then it's because all options are exhausted. So, therefore, logic and reason would dictate, since all options are not exhausted, then therefore that means necessarily I must not have come to that point. That means there are unopened doors. Can I ever access those? I don't know. Even pushing all that aside, when she had her kind of episode of getting upset at me, she just started bombarding me with all these things from the past, relationship stuff I did, this. It came out of nowhere. She was upset, like I said. She was talking about not being here anymore, and it was really scaring me because I don't know her mentality. I didn't know for sure. Like, she's said this before. Um, just because you never did it before doesn't mean you never will. The past does not dictate the future. One event can connect to another one a million times, and then there's always a first time it doesn't. And some people leave us, and it's a scary thing. I hadn't spoken to her in a long, long, long time, and that puts aside any addiction or lust or need, or even if I was emulating the narcissist and it was my own supply, even if it was like not malicious intent, but it was still a supply of love for me. All that goes out the window for me. Uh, and I wrote that and I said it in another video. Like, even if you're a stranger, you pretty much are going to have my attention until you're okay or there's some resolution, or I'm going to be up all night worrying about you, hoping you're okay, and then say there's nothing else I can do about it. It's still going to persist in my mind with all my other thoughts. It's going to be one of the main things. I'm not a kind of person that could just push that out of my fucking mind. I can't just put you gone, like, even a stranger. So somebody I really care about, I want the best for them, and I love them romantically and deeply as a partner, as a mate, besides the any sexual thing or boyfriend girlfriend type or whatever. She was my fiance, that for me, protecting my family, I don't know. I guess if you are the enemy of my family, I have to defend my family against you. So maybe I just, like he's saying, you have to stop thinking about these people like a loving person. How do you do that though? It's still a human fucking being. Like, I don't know. I don't think she has only evil intent. And I still could not let a person just suffer. Uh, if they were gonna die, I would feel evil myself if I let someone just die. But then again, how do you not see like someone who's like just killing people? How do you not see them as a cancer? It's up to us. It really is up to us. Can't just be like self-righteous. Oh, killing is wrong. Well, I mean, that's up to us. I say you should never do that. But there's contradictions in that. There's no solution. You can't be benevolent and compassionate. Like, or I guess I'm trying to say you can't be above it all and take part in it. Like it's either one or the other. What do you do? So then I find myself like really lured into the idea of like, well, how good that felt those few days. We were getting closer and closer and closer. But then obviously I'm going to notice um, when they don't call, when they don't call right away the next morning. That's the thing right there. That's every time I'm telling you. You have a female, you do something sexual, even romantic. What's the first thing in their mind in the day? Are you are you now a component in their life that they have to like keep up with and be aware of, or are you a component of the pieces that they put in the drawer for later? I used to be the absolute necessary component in her life. Even that, I don't know, because there were like little microcosms within that kind of paradigm, that illusion, if it was an illusion or if there was that reality. I think what we had was a reality, and that's where the hybrid would come in. So I think there would be a hybrid, and it's either going to be one side dominant or the other side dominant. So they're going to either live in a reality with a narcissist matrix bubble within it, or they're in that narcissist matrix bubble and they still have a tiny piece of reality that they might interact with. I don't know. That's a new idea. This whole thing is a new idea. I'm just thinking about it. And because for her, there's some things you can't fake. There's some things you just don't benefit from. There's some things that would go against the idea of the narcissist wanting the supply, needing it, using you for that. And it's not convenient to put in that effort and work and that extra for nothing. You're just wasting your time. You're not going to go and try, we're not talking about like some long-term grift and it's like this and this. Like they're genuinely happy then, and you are the reason. You're the only reason. And why they're so drawn to it is because, like he said, they've never had someone like you, and they know that they never will. And no one else is going to put up with their bullshit like you do. That's why you're the, you know, like, not to sound, it just is what it is. Like the way he says it, this guy Zion, right? Chosen one. Other people say that too, because we are a different kind of person. You're chosen by the universe to know things that these people don't know. You're right, you said something in here. They're demons, like they're demonic. You can think of it figuratively or physically. Maybe it's aliens. I don't know what's inside your butthole. I really want to know. Maybe it's astronaut. Maybe it was aliens. All inside your butthole. You have to stop playing that game on yourself. This world will devour you. And now you have had your fill. You're telling yourself, I'm not here for this. You can't fix her, dude. You're not the cure. What you consume, you eventually become. That much is for sure. Oh, yeah. You're right, man. If you're still here, I hope you're still here. Yeah, DJ, you know. I caught up on all the chat. Yeah, so all these things I'm aware of. And I think every day I'm going to listen to him talking. This guy. It's just to hear it. And he really wants me to know this. He really wants me to know this. You know, the man started a whole YouTube channel and dedicated his life. He has almost 11,000 subscribers. And for whatever reason, all those people subscribed. That's a lot of people to have on a channel when you have a tiny channel. He made that channel for me. Like, this dude is in Africa, I think, South Africa. A long time ago, he's thinking about me. Never met me, doesn't know who I am. Thinking about me out in the world. One of these people. Then here I am, found a channel. He made this for me. He wants me to know this. So much, to the point that he did this whole thing. And he tells me. He'll tell you. You're extremely valuable. Extremely valuable. And they know it. And now that you're gone, they realize it. Even if they're so far gone, they'll never have a supply like you ever again. The more I learn about this stuff, the more things I have to figure out. I've always had some conclusion. Like, there has to be some conclusion. I'm seeing some lights. I'm seeing some weird lights where I'm not supposed to be seeing lights. Hopefully it was a car. I don't know. I have to have some kind of conclusion. because my brain does not ever shut off, and very strongly connected to how I feel and how I view the world and my place in the world and what do I mean to people? Do I mean anything to them? Are they in my life? What are we doing? Where are we going? Am I going alone? What is happening right now? Like, this is, you know, it does become a very uh, self-centered view. That's why it could be very easily mistaken as like narcissistic, because you get a very self-centered view. Even if you're very helpful, you're just constantly like wanting to please others. You just want to help. You just want, here, I got that for you. Oh yeah, no problem. Here, did you need another one of these? Like, I don't know, everything. Oh man, that sucks. Wish I could say something to make you feel better, and you mean it. Like, so it's fucking light. There's property here, and there's not supposed to be people over there. It's like private, so yeah, kind of the feeling of like if someone was like in your backyard with a flashlight or something. Yeah, we're out kind of surrounded by wilderness. The houses are up against like a tree line. Uh, I forgot what I was saying about that now. Well, yeah, you're super valuable. And then I said a bunch of more stuff. Um, oh, well, yeah, I need finality to something. So, like I was saying, it's kind of self centered, but that's just from a solitary perspective, really. And if I'm alone, then I need answers, and it's just me. There's no us, there's no family, there's no group, community, town, mom, dad. There's no one. So if you become a fucking hermit or a recluse from society and go off grid and go do a bunch of shit and fucking then you go through some other shit with relationships and you're done with that and you're on your own. It's only you at the end of the day and silence. So eventually a human being gets lonely, you want somebody, then you connect with somebody, then it's like in a state of limbo. Well, I can't just be sitting there, I don't fucking know. I'm at what? Uh, okay, here, let's go on a road trip and go fill up the tank with gas. The car's running. Now my wife is gone. Okay, the car is running. We just filled up the gas tank. What's happening right now? I'm just gonna sit there and let the car run out of gas and then be stranded and then just what, stand there? Or am I gonna like start looking for some answers? And at some point, if you're alone, it's like, okay, well, oh, everybody left. They went home. Oh, they're back at home. Okay, that's a conclusion to it. I'm not just gonna leave it like that. Uh, if me and someone break up, that. That's pretty much that. If we reconnect in life, we're either getting back together or we're gonna talk about some shit and go our separate ways, which doesn't ever happen because everyone I've been with is fucking crazy. You know? So that's the thing. I don't have a big enough data set to go off of to have a fucking control group to say, oh, let me compare it against this normal thing. Because all I have to go off of is the crazy. So with the crazy comes the sexual energy, the fucking the kind of manic, like, throw caution to the wind, follow our fucking, indulge ourselves in each other, and kind of, um, a lot of things spontaneous, and like loving each other and everything. Um, I keep seeing that light. There's a road, but they're not supposed to be able to come that far in. Um, so there would be a lot of shit, and a lot of times there's usually like autopilot, especially for me, until later on when I started going through so many bad relationships and then started figuring out how to make it work, then try to employ those tactics with that person. And they either get more crazy with it, or we make progress. And that's like a long term relationship I'd be in where we lived together for 4 years. But even her, she had multiple personality disorder, and she turned crazy one day and came after me with a butcher knife. Okay? After that, that shit was done. Never again. I even went and spoke to her, and she denied having any of these things when she would talk to me in different voices. Like all out different people who weren't aware of the other person within her. That I would know things about them and it would freak her out or something. I don't know. The point is, there would be final, like, if you come back, if I come back to you, I might try to see what, hey, is there anything here? If it's just, depending on what happened, two lovers will come back together. If one person is just a fucking crazy psycho, doesn't care if you're gonna die, you're bleeding. Oh, haha. Like, maybe somebody will help you. That's pretty funny. That's a real psychopath. That's a literal fucking killer. um, yeah, that's. We're done with that. So, other people might die. They're gone forever. Other people you break up, you forget. There was a final thing. That was it. Okay, fuck them. Other stuff you have to go through, get over it. It takes a long time. But there was like a final thing. This happened, and therefore this. The bitch cheated on me. Fuck her. Never again, dude. No way, dude. Never. You get I can never trust you ever again. You fucking ruined it. Permanently. Fighting and problems and being an asshole. Okay, we could fucking work on that, yeah. Uh until when, though? So this is unprecedented. It's never happened with me. It's never happened with her. It's never happened with our relationship. Every other time that and any time we've broken up, we got back together. The final time that we didn't, I fucking literally moved halfway across the country of the United States of America. Like, so, yeah, well, about a third of the country, technically. Really fucking far, though. And it really hurt her feelings, apparently. 2 times I found this out. Well, why the fuck are you're gonna, something you cherish, you're gonna play with it like it's nothing and lose it. What do you think's gonna happen? You leave that shit laying around, you're gonna fucking lose it. You're gonna feel bad? Okay, you get it back. You're gonna do the same thing? You're gonna treat it like nothing again. And then you're gonna be just as fucking upset. Then you're gonna get it back again and understand once and for all how fucking much you messed up. You're gonna lose this thing forever. This most important thing in the world that you can't ever get again from anyone else. It's your one chance at it. And this time you're going to physically take it and throw it away consciously. And then when it continues to roll down the hill and gets to the bottom and decides, I'm going to keep rolling, you're going to ask it, why are you rolling in that direction? Are you crazy? Are you crazy? This is how I would talk to her. I'm real. That's why you're a chosen one. And the real narcissist can't communicate that way. She could. But there's like a piece that's missing. It's almost like she's trying to tap into some functionality that she doesn't have. Or it's like she's a coder and she keeps using the debug and the debugger isn't showing any errors, but every time she tries to run the program, it keeps giving a bug, error. Or not even an error, it just keeps crashing and doesn't run, it freezes, it lags, it gives incorrect return results, doesn't function right. So it's like a broken string. It's like a, it's like it's pointing to a library that's not there, like a link library. And she, I know she has a lot of self-awareness. The thing is, on the phone, she revealed the biggest thing. And she always does too. Because she knows at the end of the day that she is safe with me, that I won't attack her like the wolves will. You're in the cave. The door is guarded. Nobody can get in. And she tells me genuinely, in her own way, that how much I mean to her, and asks, why did I move so far away? She'll only get like this in that certain mood at the end of the day. If we're on the phone, we would spend our evening, if we can't be together, we're on the phone, falling asleep. I think her guard is like let down mostly. She has a lot of self-awareness. The true narcissist won't. They'll have some, but they won't have insight. They won't have any desire to express to you So she does have this sociopathic side of I don't know what it looks like for her to be remorseful, to be in pain, of empathetic of someone else, sympathy. I feel like shit. Like I cried for that little boy, visualizing as if it was my brother. You know. But she tells me these things, and well, she told me the one thing that I've always known, because I thought about this. We were together like a year, which is like 10 years for someone normal because of all the time we spend and how quickly we share and just evolve and connect emotionally, spiritually, physically, intellectually, artistically. That's one of those things that's hmm. It was, we were together a year, and I had already thought of a lot of things, but I needed some different time and perspective to be able to be at a certain point, because you can't understand from a future perspective now. You have to experience a bunch of stuff you don't even know what to look for yet. Then you can reflect on it, like, oh, okay. And a lot of things made sense because I had some epiphanies. I thought about it. Uh, and she told me something once that made sense. And it always surprised her how fluid my response would be, because it's not something new to me. You're not presenting me with a new idea. I've already analyzed your thoughts, our interaction. I've considered all the possibilities. I've considered what's the most likely thing. I've tried to pinpoint, and then I've tested through different hypothetical scenarios in my mind. What if it's this? What if this? She would probably, it would be this. Then she reveals the cards. I was pretty much spot on. That, and that. Huh. I knew it. She had a full house or whatever. It's yeah. And it would make her kind of stop in her tracks almost and pause, because it blows her mind how fucking deep I can get into understanding the new thing that she just is this and this and this. And I'm like, yeah, that's because you went through this thing and that happened. And then, I say this. And it hits her. That is, it's an extremely loving thing to do. To take your own time and really think about, figure something out for someone else. Just, just for them to have understanding. And you can step back and just it's like putting out a pizza and you just stand back. I already ate. I'm full. I don't want none of that pizza. I got a bunch already at home too. That's for you guys. I'm just stick it down there, dude. I don't even care. So that went both ways. But I was always more catering to her. But it would always surprise her when I already knew. Like, I already knew the route she was going to take in the thought. I had thought about it, and that's what I thought too. Like, and she would. That was the closest we've ever been. Were those moments where she's like, we're on the phone, and she's totally. It's like you're actually letting someone be close. You're being real. Like, there's a real person, and she'd say something like that, and I'd say, I know. I've thought about this a lot, and I sensed that too. And she would say, yeah? Like, just this real soft, like, understanding. Like, that is probably one of the most fucking loving things anyone could do for me. And they know that. You have nothing to gain or benefit. Um, Wanting the two of you to be closer, trying to gain understanding to help your mate progress and help you progress and help you both. Yeah, that's where it's at, you know. Everyone else always used that girl and abused her. Uh, One of the things she told me, she would listen to me talk, and she was intimidated, like she felt inferior. I'm like, oh. So that was part of the thing. That was part of that thing. She would tell me these things, and yeah, sometimes she would surprise me. There were always those times, and it can't be a, like the reaching out to kind of keep that tether attached, like, because there were times where it would seem like that might have been the thing, but then, like I said, there's these other times where I can tell there's something genuine. Now, the whole point, this is all novel, this is new for her. All her ex-boyfriends have always come back, been, it was a superficial, shallow type of temporary type relationship, and whatever happened, and then it's like, oh yeah, my ex came back, hee, you know, haha, like, and then they're still around, and they kind of flirt sometimes, and who knows. So we were in the social media, like, radio chatter, you know, we talk on radios and stuff, and there's pictures, you can send pictures. So you might call someone on the phone, and you go meet up with them in, if they're in your city, you know, or you could talk to people around the world or whatever you want to do. So it's like, oh, there's groups and all this, and you get to own one of the channels. So, you know, they have a channel, she has a channel. Oh yeah, that's my ex-boyfriend, and she give him like a, make him a moderator. So yeah, we're still cool, and oh yeah, I'm always friends with my exes. Bruh, first of all, you're not a man. That's one thing right there. Like, I gotta agree with Andrew Tate on this one. I can't say I agree with everything the man says, but he does have a lot of good points. And no, Andrew Tate is not the smartest man in the world, like he says. Anyone who thinks they're the smartest man in the world is a very stupid person. Because I'm the smartest man in the world. Oh, ex is not your friend. Someone you're romantically involved with was never your friend. You've never been. You might have. You might have. Well, if you had a friend and it never occurred to you ever. You never had that thought feeling. You never looked at them like anything. You never even noticed they had boobies. Then one day you did. And you're like, oh my, wait. One day you just are like, damn, she's looking kind of fine. She's looking, wait a minute. That's weird. Okay. It's just, that's not your friend anymore. You're not friends anymore. Now you're more than friends. Once you're more than friends, you can't ever not be more than friends. How many times have you done a thing? Once you've done a thing, you can't not have done that thing that many times. It's the same thing. It's like virginity. You can't be friends. All you're doing is putting an official terminology label on the relationship of we are not committed to each other as boyfriend, girlfriend. You're just calling it we are friends. That's not accurate though. You're not friends. First of all, me and her were never homies. Never. Especially with the way she was. I've had girlfriends who were like a homie to me. But that was like a play. A girl can't be your fucking homie. I don't care what you say. I don't care what anyone says. You cannot have a girl who's your bro. You can't. No. Bro, it's guys. It's your bro, dude. That's it. A friend who's a girl, you could be just a friend and never think that way or have that thought, but you're still a man. And you could still put your penis in her vagina if you really wanted to. You can't do that with a guy. You could go so far as to say men and women can't ever be friends, and I agree with that too. You can't. A friend is, there's no sexual coupling that could happen. Women could be friends with each other, but I don't think they could even truly be because they're too carnally competitive. Men are more logically competitive and emotionally strong, I think. I think we're logically competitive and more of in a communal way. I think men would rather be around other strong men because a bunch of strong men could lift a bunch more shit. And the smart ones know that we do better working together. So some evil ones like to dominate others. That's not really that's sort of the way of the world, but then you have to understand that's not the overwhelming majority. Because if it was, well, it could be, but it hasn't won yet. There's still goodness in the world. Otherwise, it would have been all consumed. There would be, but that's a different trajectory. Men run the world. That's just the way it is. The reason men run the world is because of biology. And women are more competitive in a carnal fashion. Men are not competitive in a carnal fashion with each other unless they're fucking crazy and anti-productive and detrimental to the group. And those ones were outcast. That's survival of the fittest. The other ones get to the top usually by working together. You can't get to the top by only dominating. You have to work together with someone somewhere. Everything, it's a financial system. Everything is systematic. Everything has algorithms, sets of instructions that must be followed, one after the other, in some order. Everything is systematic. People, society, every action you take, it's systematic. It's part of a system. It has to follow some set of instructions, some algorithmic, logical progression. This has to happen, and then this will happen. And the reason you're doing this is because you need this based on this premise. So based on this premise, you must do this in order for this to happen to get to this conclusion. That's your algorithmic instruction set. A, B, C, D. If A equals true, then go to B. If A and B are true, then go to C, and so on. That's your algorithm. That's a system. The same thing applies in a relationship. It has to be systematic. There has to be logical instruction sets that are run out. And these two, like this, is mine, and that's hers. But they're in what's called like a group. It's like a subset. So within the logical instruction, in order for the whole thing to progress, these two have to work together, not just on their own. A, B, C, D, then this one, hers, can go to here. Mine also has to go A, B, C, D for me to go to here. Now, if A is true, her, and B is true, that's the logic gate. It's an AND gate. A and B must be true for the light to turn on. Otherwise, the system doesn't function. She she didn't ever have a boyfriend like me, and then fiance. We got engaged, and her exes have come back and been in her life. We even talked about that before, and then I brought this up because nothing was it's not normal. It's not normal. There's a lot that's kind of like always been. She keeps a lot of her feelings like hidden, her thoughts. She's not straightforward, and that's part of why she's so attracted to me and drawn to me, because of my truth, my openness, and that's also part of what fucking frustrates her. That's why I say it's like a hybrid situation, because there's the narcissistic side that is when I bring up that truth and it breaks the illusion and it has to make her call herself out. She can't handle it. She can't stand it. But I do it in a caring way, not in a forceful way, a very conscious way, because I'm tactful. When I speak to people, there's a handful of ways it can go. And if I change one word, it could go off the rails. If only I had put that one word in a slightly different context, or if I had waited 10 more seconds, this would have been a calm interaction. Don't catch me outside, though. Catch me outside on the wrong day. You want to start throwing fists, it's hands. I'm not saying literally. I'm saying a person. It's, I'm not going to try to get through to you and explain to you why you shouldn't be trying to punch me. You're going to get fucking punched in the throat. You are. You really are. And it's okay. And she knew that with words, obviously. We never hurt each other physically at all. But verbally, just because I'm letting you fucking shoot arrows over the wall doesn't mean I can't fire back, dude. And if a couple of those things fucking hits me, I'm gonna be fucking pissed. I'm not gonna sit here keep holding my shield up for what? And you're gonna set fire to the wall? I thought you were inside the castle. What the fuck are you doing? And the people are like, that's the queen. Why is she doing this? I don't fucking know. I mean, yeah, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna do it. And if there's some love there, something is gonna hurt you eventually. If I have to sit there and bleed to death to show you, like, so you'll understand, then I'm not gonna stop the bleeding. I'm gonna let it go. And I'm sorry if it's distracting you. I apologize that I'm dying and that it's an inconvenience for you to notice the red on the floor. And when that doesn't matter, and the last drop pumps out, and all that's left is a corpse, well, now you want to know what's wrong. You're so quiet. She doesn't know what to say. She doesn't know how to decrypt what has happened now. And beyond any mental discrepancy, ADHD and this and that, and like, oh, okay, this happened, and I know, and yes, and abuse, and this and this and this. Right. So, but now that you're here, now that you're saying it to me, can you see what this is doing? You know? And that's that moment of clarity where it's like, yeah, like, but then, yeah, like there's, I don't know. Maybe that is the edge of the simulation where the wall ends and she just gets stuck there looking at it, doesn't know what to do. Because what do you do? So then here I am thinking about all these things. And considering the different possibilities, because it doesn't fit either side perfectly. I don't know how much time she takes to reflect on anything or whatever, but it clearly had an effect on her when I sang to her. There's no guy that has ever sing to her. Like, there's guys that like sing songs, but there's a difference when someone sings for you and when someone sings to you, and when it speaks to you, like on a different level, where you're just the world goes away, and I guess I've been told I have a way of making someone feel like they're the only person that exists in the world in that moment, because that's what I do, because that is what happens for me. I don't have to make it happen. I write a line of poetry that is what I'm thinking. I'm not trying to put words on a page that sound away. Baby, I love you. And when I look at you, I don't see the world. I just see you. And we'd have that. So after 5 years, just to hear my voice, like, affects her in some type of way. So what? She doesn't know how to deal with it. This has never happened, like I said. So this is new. Then that stuff happened. I left her a bunch of really genuinely heartfelt message. Long message. On 2 different things. Like one on the internet, one on her phone. The end conclusion of it, when I realized she was being mean. She wasn't being vulnerable anymore. I realized it, and I had just found a couple videos describing this. And that's when I said it, like, I knew, and I told her, stop talking over me. Just like that. How I just said that. And that's where that narcissist comes in again. The other person isn't there anymore. Maybe it's a split personality type thing. Like borderline personality, right? So there's the real person, then there's the split, and the split is the narcissist. So the split can come and go with the real person who interacts with you. Then when they're there, you have to interact with the narcissist. And that's what it feels like. It feels like a possession. And there was that point that it suddenly just looked like a pattern. Have you ever seen one of those sculptures where you look at it from the side, but it's real thin pieces of metal, and you can't see it until you start to turn? Then you get that perspective, and it's a bunch of shapes, like squares or something, like, whoa, like a hologram, you know? You can only see it from one angle. It was like window shades. When they're open, you can't see them, then it shuts. I was like, bro, I felt like right now, I felt in a spider web, you know? Like, whoa, I thought I was moving around. I'm stuck right now. What is this? And I'm just speaking. Then she get to how she used to get, and she would use that control, that mechanism, that pain over me, knowing I would forgive her. She could fucking be mean. She could do whatever. She could disregard me, even be around me the rest of the night, talking to other people, laughing, knowing I'm fucking hurt. And laugh and giggle and shit. Bro, come on, dude. That's sadistic. That's fucking pure evil. But I would have to interact with that, and she would know. I'd be there in the morning. I mean, it's not how it sounds, because it would sound like, well, it is a person being abused who just comes back, but it's not in like that pathetic puppy dog way. It's that type of way that she knew that I knew that. Like I said, I openly discuss and talk about this kind of shit and my thoughts and feelings about all kind of stuff. She could pick up on it when I don't do that with her. She gets in these weird fucking mental states. So when she's real, when she's being real, she can get crabby and stuff, but then she wants to make it right. She wants things to be, you could think, well, maybe, yeah, she doesn't want the supply to get fucked up. Of course, the dealer's going to look out. The boss is going to look out for the dealers. He doesn't want the product to get fucked up. Well, no. It's like there's no product at that time. All the satisfactions have been met. There's nothing to benefit. Then when you genuinely need a person and that is that person that loves you, that can't be faked. Like, I am that person. She knows. I'm still not going to fucking abandon her in that moment. And that's when she would be forced to be humble and have some insight and think, maybe there is something wrong with me. And then she would go into long explanations. And again, I would say, that's kind of what I figured. I didn't think I knew this precise details, but I picked up on that. You probably had this happened. Probably either your father was this way and your mother was this way and like this, or you didn't have a mom. Oh, turns out your mom was that way and like this, and your dad was the opposite. Which makes sense, which is something that people who are much more brilliant than me, uh, I'm not saying I'm brilliant by saying that, I'm saying much smarter than me, have figured out, and I've learned reading their words than analyzing and learning from my situations. They're right. And yeah, she gets into it's the child, then the adult, the victim, then the abuser. But then there's a separate entity. That's what I mean. There's a whole other part. It's like this wild card. It's like, oh, who's this that just showed up? Like, if she was into this and this and this, and then she's all of a sudden wearing my jersey, like, wait, that's his girl? That's weird. Or you found out, like, oh, your one friend is into this music too? Huh. Who's this? It's weird. I would never expect her to say something like this. That's the only thing. There's always something different. There's something there. And I don't think she thought about it or evaluated it. And I think it's a lot of realizations now that she's figuring out. But I've changed my patterns and adjusted my behaviors, and I'm not on like autopilot. And she's sensing that, picking up on that. When I sang to her, um, the Elvis song, I left it overnight. We were on video chat, and we're just staring at each other, smiling. I don't know. Some things can't be faked. And that's the thing she's scared of. So the doc was saying, and the other guy was saying, uh, yeah, some people aren't, they're not too far gone. So we were talking and talking and talking. She freaked out. Started talking about eating pills, running in front of trucks. I'm like, scared to death. Mother instinct, you know, parent, father, whatever you want. It's called the motherly instinct to protect fucking life. No agenda, no relationship thought into it or anything. And keep in mind, when we were talking, I kept it $1.50 always. I just am there. I just found myself in that situation. Uh, After 5 years, she suddenly. I had no contact with her, no connections to any groups or channels. I forgot about her. Uh, don't think anything crazy, but I forgot her first name. I know, don't, it does, it's not what it sounds like. Believe me, I can forget. I have a amnesia thing. It's part of the neurodivergent, and I had an accident with hallucinogens. It messed up my long-term potentiation. So if something is traumatic enough, I can block it out, and then my brain starts to like disrupt the fucking neuron connections of those memories and those proteins that resynthesize those memories. Like it's extrapolated on the fly. It's synthesized in real time. When you have a memory, there's encoded information that's stored that it's not the memory itself, it's how to reconstruct it to the best way it can, and it gets reconstructed. And you attach that to a thought and a feeling of like an aesthetic and a memory of like, okay, this sense, this touch, this smell. And that starts breaking down over time. And eventually you forget everything. But if you have memory problems and problems with long term potentiation, that's the storage of those connections to recreate those memories. And that's the way that memories function. So we can inject a dye into your brain. We can give you a memory of me. Okay? So now you remember me. While you're remembering me, I can scan your brain. This is not like like this is a real technology. Like this is we do this. We can do this. Look at your brain scan. The liquid will show up. Like when you take the dye for when they want to scan your blood and it shows up in the machine. So when you have the memory, we can see the paths that were created to extrapolate that memory and create it. So you see me, you know what I look like. These new pathways are created. We can see it. Now, I leave the room. We can scan and look in your brain and see those connections. And then we can fire a very precise laser. It's a surgical laser. And if we destroy those connections, then I come back in and it's like you've never met me. You don't have any memory of me. You can't make a memory of me. You've never seen me before, but you have. You can't remember me. So those things that recreate that mechanism is like, I guess, damaged for me. And then if there's trauma, you can completely block something out. So I have periods of time in my childhood that are missing, and I never understood why. It's blank. I don't know what happened. It must have been fucked up. It's not normal. Everything else is there. It's like someone removed it. Maybe it's aliens. Maybe. So if we have this technology, hey, we could discover a new planet tomorrow and be like, yo, these guys are primitive. Let's go fuck with them. Put Neuralink in them. Fuck with their memories. Maybe that's what they do. They pick us up, put you down, pick you up, put you down, knock you around. So 5 years or six something. I went through a whole hurricane, traumatic life experiences, uh, changed locations, like drastic life changing things. Kind of overall, still in the same area. I moved, but I'm still in the after effect of that relationship. Like the direct aftermath. You know, she fucking. You thought I was like broken before and destroyed. Like you thought you were ruined before. This is when they take all the pieces that's left, like in the movie The Office, and they destroy the printer. Well, let's go back and take each piece and like really, really get creative. uh, so there's nothing left. And I don't, I honestly don't know. I don't know. I used to be, okay, I used to be lost like that too, and I got through. Like I knew I was chosen, but I didn't know, like, I didn't know how foggy things were. It seemed like normal to me, but only because I was seeing in 720. And the next step up was like 1080p. That's like brand new for me. Little did I know there's 4K. Now I'm looking at the world in HD. Nothing is the same. Can never be the same. If I did that, she can do that. And have you ever seen someone so good at something and just thought, man, dude, if only they were on our team, we'd win the championship? Easily. Like we already have one star chosen one, right? And the rest of the team's pretty good. But really, the team is just the chosen ones. So that's why I say, yeah, the team's pretty good because what we're up against, the evil in the world, is overwhelming. We can't just go up against it. It's greater than us. You have to figure that out. Like, you can't, there's no way around it. If you think you're stronger than the evil, or you can beat it, that's ridiculous. All you can do is make it not be there anymore somehow. Remove it, change it. Can't defeat it. It's evil. It will always be that. Can't make water not be water. And water is not wet, by the way. Water can't be wet. Wetness is when water is on something to moisten it. Water is itself. It can't be on itself. Oh, I don't have skin on my skin on my skin on my skin. Oh, I have 7 layers of epidermis. But I like geometry because I want to get high on hypotenuse. She could be a star player. She is a star too. She's broken though. She's super damaged. I know. Man, what a trip that would be if she found me here. Wow. This is I never combined. I never crossed these universes. This is like not even like Marvel Capcom. This is like this is like the Matrix and a John Wayne movie. Like, yeah. That's the thing. That's the thing. There's still fundamental things about me that she doesn't know or understand, or like even ways of like avenues of like deciphering the cyberspace to find me, which is very possible. Um, I just found somebody from another person from 5 years, ironically, that I was thinking about because of her and everything, and that time period, and that ended on a bad note. It was someone I knew after her. And I just like followed like some kind of breadcrumbs like around and kind of look around, because it couldn't be the typical, like, you can't just look up on Facebook or something. You really have to understand or know somebody and try to but yeah, I found a profile. There's absolutely no way that's not the person. I know who that is. Like, it's your fingerprint. Nothing specific, just the style, aesthetic, what they said, how they said it, the pictures they have, even a couple things correlating to me, which is kind of trippy because I'm obviously still in their thoughts if I'm posting something like that. But I found them. If this girl would have taken 10% only, 10%, not even give 100% of your attention to your spouse, sometimes just give 10% of it a part of the time, you'd know what I'm into, the kind of shit I do, my dreams, my goals, what's important to me, what makes me tick, the kind of dude I am, the kind of person I am, the kind of shit I'd never do. You'd understand, like my friend used to say, I don't know. I tell him this kind of stuff, and he would tell me kind of things I would tell him. Like, you're a different kind of a person, dude. Like, I would tell him, you're just, the level you're at is so far out of their universe that they're not even aware of the fucking pieces that go into making it. They're not even aware of the materials. They're not even aware of the concepts before it was even invented to fucking know how to mine for the rare earth materials to make such a device. And he knew that, but he was more promiscuous and dabbled and liked to, not in a bad, malicious, like, nasty way, but he knew how to say what he wanted to say to females. Like, he's like, dude, this girl. He would just send me pictures like, look what she just sent me. Are you kidding me? I'm like, dude, what? Just met her. Something about his voice, the way he talks, and he just treats them with fucking no regard. He's not mean. He's not a dickhead to him. He's kind of a dick. Not in a fucking way that you would imagine, though. Just kind of fucking, yeah, just his way that he goes about it. They just, I don't know. He knows what to do and how to, like, like pickup artist. But, he's like, hey, I get them fucking rub their pussy, Okay, I guess, dude. Uh, but he would be asking me, he's like, I don't know, man. I've been talking to this one girl, like, I don't know, for a couple years, and she seems serious and this and that. And I'm like, dude, you're falling into the trap. You're forgetting, like, you're trying to get her to see it from your fucking perspective, and it doesn't make sense because she can't see the valley through the trees. You're up on top of the mountain at the apex, at the parallax. You can see all sides. You're putting her next to you mentally. She's not there. It's a hologram. You're seeing, like, what, the rose-colored glasses, right? The person doesn't even have to be a narcissist. A lot of these, that's what I mean. A lot of these concepts apply to just, yeah, you're seeing an illusion. You're living in a matrix, a fantasy reality that they're obviously creating and in control of. If you're being drawn into it, calling me, talking to me about someone who clearly doesn't fucking care if you're there or not, dude. You guys get together and do sexual things. And you want me to continue the sentiment and paint you a picture. There's no picture. There's no paint. There's no canvas. That's why I have no advice for you at home. So he would tell me this. I'm trying to understand this girl. And he's like, dude, I don't think she understands the caliber of guy that she's fucking with. I'm like, indeed, tell me more. I'm not just like feeding my ego or anything right now. It's just like, we joke around about that a lot because we're both self-aware. We're both obviously like, yeah, I fucking love compliments, of course. But I was going to say before, what kind of saved me, I think, in the end was I've had always like low self-esteem when I was young until I became unstoppable, like older, unkillable. And I'm like, oh, this is like a planet of amoebas and I'm some fucking alien god. Okay, I guess I'll just be here then. Oh, there's other alien gods here with me. Would you look at that? And some of them are assholes. What? One way to think of it, but he's like, yeah, dude, like she'll never be on your level. And I hated when he would say that because I'm like, I try to think of it. Well, what do you mean by that? Why? How do you know? It's like, he would be like, I don't know, she's just not as deep as you. Like she doesn't think of things that fucking deeply. Like, yeah, she might be a caring, loving person at the end of the day, but she's not, dude, when she's going to bed at night, you're there. It makes her feel good. She loves you. And that's it. But for you, she's in your, like, in your thoughts. It's part of you. She doesn't think that deeply. just as a utilitarian thing, which is like, well, of course. And I'd be like, yeah, I know that. That that's a difference between me and her, and that's a difference between me and a lot of people, and that's a difference between her and a lot of people. She thinks about a lot of things, but probably not as much as I do. But then I think of it like that, and he's just trying to tell me, like, no, she's not at that same like peak of like she's had this insight and she cares enough to not want to jeopardize it. You know, she's callous with a lot of things, immature in a lot of ways. And that comes back to like, well, then that's when you get confused. And you think of the narcissist. And yeah, they have the motherly and the child, mother, child, mother, child. Um, they didn't have one, and they weren't able to be the other. So they emulate each of the roles and they pull you into that to play that part off of you. So things were just kind of naturally unfolding. I don't know why. I think she freaked out because, like I said, I didn't bring up anything. I didn't flirt with her. She said the first thing was just like a loving thing in the morning that we used to say to each other. And looking back on it, I'm like, did I just fall into a trap of like love bombing? But that's the thing. It's like mutual between both. So I don't know if this turned more into talk of like me trying to figure, because that's the point of the topic anyway. I'm trying to figure out so I can get catharsis, so I can get some kind of it doesn't have to be resolution, but for me, resolution would be a finality to a thought. Like there is something is complete with it, or I have some understanding of where it stands. Otherwise, it's just limbo. And then it makes me think, like, well, is that the classic tactic that they want to keep you in that limbo? So let's see. You said some other stuff here. Oh yeah. What? Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. She was in that dark moment. I was being there for her on the phone because she called me suddenly. Before that, everything had been fine. And she got in that like depressive mood. Um, yeah, she was just telling me about how she's been so extremely depressed, and then she started rifling around for stuff and getting all crazy, saying she's going to look up if something is going to make her not wake up. Um, and then she just started bombarding me with all these like blame things from the past. And suddenly she's like, I don't want to be with you. I don't want to get back with you. I was like, what the heck? And I just kept, I didn't know how to respond to that right then. It was very surprising to just out of nowhere say that. We hadn't talked about anything like that. Um, we've never broken up and not gotten back together. And when we did, that's when I moved across the country. And then 5 years has passed. Uh, so I guess if that narcissistic part is there, that must have been extremely difficult to deal with. The fact that, like, well, I was just being genuinely caring and loving, not like romantic, but just normal and real. And we told each other we love each other. Uh, but never talked about any of the stuff. And we were only talking um, like 4 or 5 days right then. Suddenly, like, yeah. So she got really upset. Uh, Started blaming me for all this stuff. And I don't know, it didn't end well. Then we didn't talk, and that's when there was just that silence. It's like 6 days. Then I messaged her and said goodbye. She just said, "You okay?" Because there was a hurricane that came this way. That's all she said. Then I said goodbye, and she said nothing. Then it was like a week goes by. And then we're talking again, and that's when I sang to her, and then she put up a thing about marriage and like a ring on her picture, but doesn't say anything to me about it. So it's really crazy. I don't know. It's like narcissistic or like a combination, but yeah, I don't know. A lot to figure out with that. A lot to figure out with that.